Hello and welcome to the news, where we're going to go over everything that happened in the fourth term at King's.
But before we do that, you might notice that we're not the familiar voices that you normally hear on this podcast. So myself, Theo Flavin, and Michael Grace, we have taken over the podcast, or at least a news segment from Jakob and Greg, who are the previous hosts. So I thought, we might start out by talking about, why we got into the podcast, why we decided to take over, and what we plan to do going forward. I can remember when Jakob sent out the email asking for podcast hosts. I was in the car driving back from school, and so I read the email, and I don't know why I decided to do it. I texted you and thought, should we do this? And then you were like, yeah, sure, that sounds awesome. So it was it was very much a sort of an impulsive thing. I don't know if you had anything to add.
Well, as you say, this is something we very much thought of on a whim. However, it was picked up that generally we're the more formal candidates. Hence, we've been trusted with telling the news to you all. And I have also been trusted as the creative director of the whole podcast, despite not having any editing skills, but I do have an assistant head boy badge, so there we go.
Well, I'm sure we'll learn as we go along. So, I thought I might add a bit of background on how we actually got the roles. So, a few people applied. So Jakob contacted us and said, hey, great, it's cool you applied, and we submitted a trial episode. So we did an interview, and like Michael said, we were seen as the more formal presenters. So we were given the news, and then Adam and Faraz will be taking over the ramble, so the interview section of the podcast. So I guess all I would think about or consider, finishing off this intro part is, what do you think of our plans going forward? Do we want to take the podcast in a new direction, or what do you think we might be thinking about?
We've certainly got a big role to fill after Jakob and Greg's amazing performance last year. We're certainly thinking at least termly episodes.
Yeah.
We're going to have the news of Kings, of course. Whether we might have other news-related things, we might have to see.
Yeah. So we thought maybe having maybe something to do with the national news, just sort of a roundup for. I'm aware that not everyone really keeps on top of the news, but if we had a short segment, we thought that might be an idea, and okay. We've got a few ideas brewing, but we'll keep them secret for now. We'll see what happens.
On with the show.
Yes. So after we've done that, we've said a little hello. Let's talk about some news and some stuff that's happened. So we thought we might start with the debating news. So for those of you who are regular listeners to the podcast, you will have heard about the oncoming final of the Oxford debate competition that happened on the 11th of March. So that was attended by Tashan and Tom, who got through from the regional round of the Oxford Schools debating competition. So they went to the Oxford Union, and they participated in some debates. So I've got some motions here. Shall we? We'll read a few of them out. So in areas of socio-economic deprivation, this House prioritises training students in vocational skills.
This House believes that the development of AGI, as Artificial General Intelligence, should be restricted exclusively to government-controlled funded institutions.
We did participate in the regional round of the competition. Well, unfortunately, we didn't make it through to the finals, but Tashan and Tom did. So, of course, congratulations. That's a huge achievement in themselves.
Especially being only 1 point away from getting into the final debate.
Yes, so they very narrowly missed out on participating in the novice final of that competition. But still, an incredible achievement. So, very well done to them. Then, of course, that's not the only debating event that's happened recently. There was the debate in the council chamber. So all of the teams that participated in the regional rounds of the Oxford Schools competition, we participated in a public debate in the Grantham Council chambers. So the motion was, this House believes that national public service should be mandatory. So yeah, I mean, Michael and myself, we actually participated in the debate.
Did.
You know, it was
On the winning side, of course.
no, yeah, that's true. We probably should mention that, shouldn't we? Yeah, so I really enjoyed that. It was I mean, it was very nerve-wracking doing that kind of debate in front of a huge audience, in front of loads of people, but I mean, I enjoyed it. Maybe
Definitely.
I enjoyed it
Big experience.
retrospectively. I was very nervous going into it, but yeah, I'm glad I did it, certainly. Moving on from the debating news now, should we talk about some of the physics-based news?
Some news from physics. So the physics department at King's is very well organised in organising the British Physics Olympiad challenges for students to do. So the year 12 students, there were 39 that took part in an online senior physics Olympiad challenge, of which we had 11 achieve bronze, 14 silver and 14 gold, having taken two 30-minute tests, which were definitely rigged, as both Theo and I got silver and not gold. We also saw another physics Olympiad for year 11 students, in which 26 students took part, two of which achieved bronze, 17 silver and 7 gold. So well done to everyone who participated,
yes,
and of
well
course
done
all
to
the gold
students.
certificates.
Yeah, there is a new head boy team. So I don't know, Michael, if for no reason at all, if you wanted to mention
whatsoever.
talk about that.
Yes, so we've recently had the handover to the new head boy team for the next academic year. So we now have our new head boy, who's Tashan Mapundu. You'll remember Tashan from the debate we mentioned earlier.
Yeah.
Very well suited to the role, and we've got big plans, and we're looking forward to see what he's going to have put in place. Below him, we then have the deputy head boy, Jesse Hole, and we also have 5 assistant head boys, Charles Stevenson, Arman Ahmed, Josh Brahua, Jack Hall, and me, Michael Grace.
Should we talk about some club-based news now? So there was recently an inter-house whist club competition. So the winners were Jacob Kemp from 8 Moor and Jack Smith from 7 Burley. And in terms of which house came out on top, that was Schoolhouse. So well done, of course, to Schoolhouse. Then talking about the chess club now, the chess club, the competition team, made it through to the regional tournament finals. So round 1, that was held a while back in December, and they made it to the top of the regional bracket after that round. Round 2, they scored a narrow victory, 3.5 to 2.5 points. I will say that, not obviously knowing what I'm talking about, but I'm sure that you chess nerds out there will know what that means. And they were unfortunately unsuccessful in the final round of the regional competition, where they were beaten by Nottingham High School. But nonetheless, a magnificent effort, so well done for getting that far. Also recently held was a Warhammer Club painting competition, so that was judged by Mrs. Copeman and Mrs. Worley, who's the head of the art department. So the winner of that competition was Archie Piggott in 7 Moor. Finally, to wrap up the club stuff, there is some CCF news. So the RAF CCF section, they came 10th in the national RAF competition that was held at RAF Holton. So only the best 16 schools out of over 260 reached those national finals. So not only is it an incredible achievement to get there in the first place, but 10th out of 16, that's a very, very solid and respectable position in the pack. So well done to everyone who participated in that. So that's some clubs news. We wanted also to touch on some significant achievements made by individuals in the King's schools. It
has to be said there were many people included. However, due to time, we have only been able to choose a couple people to mention here.
So Tom Liu Child in 7 Newton participated in a Cambridge Science Festival. So he had to pilot a surgical robot, and he was praised for being faster and more accurate than most surgeons would have been. So, wow, really impressive stuff. Mm-hmm. Well done.
And Sam Grundy in 9 Curtis competed in the first round of the National Youth Omnium Track cycling series at the Lee Valley Velodrome in London on Sunday the 12th of March, and he came 5th in the 1 kilometre time trial, setting a new personal best.
Well done to all those individuals, but many more, great individual achievements that we didn't have the time to include, but well done to all of those people.
And finally, we're going to have a quick run through of some of the sporting achievements. For football, the Year 7s recorded victories against Priory and St George's, which makes them the KSSA League winners. So well done to all the people involved in that. And the Year 8s have also become KSSA League champions and preparing to defend their title as the winners of the County Cup. Moving further up the school, the Sixth Form's first 11 won the Lincolnshire School's Senior Football A-League Cup after the match went down to penalties. In other sports, with water polo, the under-18 water polo team won the ESSA under-18 plate final after defeating Abington, Colfs and Eton College. Incredible achievement, so well done to them. And then with gymnastics, Kings has been doing rather well. In the under-14 vault, Leo Smith took first place, and in the under-19 competition, Kings recorded first, second and third, with Harry Clements coming in first, Ben Zeckerley second and Zach Walker third. Finally, with the news from sports, with rowing, congratulations to the students involved in a significant number of rowing events. As we're now hitting the rowing season, it was impressive to see Theo Cadby, Jim Gleed, Thomas Craddock, Jesse Hull and Edward McDermott in the boat that won the Lincoln Head in the fastest 8 of the day. So well done to all of them.
Well, that's our little news segment done. I hope you enjoyed listening. I hope we nicely stepped into the shoes of Jakob and Greg, and I'm really excited to see how stuff's going to go, moving forward.
Very much so. Thank you everyone for tuning in,
Yeah,
and I'm sure you'll hear again.
Yeah, thank you
in
for
the
listening.
future.